Guys, episode 11, take 2. We'll do a blooper reel. We messed up the first take. This is the second take. We'll do a blooper reel at the end of the year with all the stuff. So, guys, welcome back again for episode 11. Okay, Six Nations. Let's start. So, we're doing a lot. There's going to be a lot of changes in the next couple of months with Spear
New prospects.
New prospects, new developments. We've been having a lot of meetings and gotten to the conclusion that we need social media. Our website will be up and running early in April, so you'll be able to view all the stuff there. Newsletters and stuff will come not long after that you can join. At the end, in the description of this video, we'll have our link to our new Facebook page and our new Twitter page. And then probably after the website's up, we've discussed that we'll move away from the podcasting and move more towards a vlogging scenario. So because I've been bashing James Lowe and stuff like that, so that they at least know what I look like and whatnot. So if they want to try and do something at some point when they're in South Africa, they can try. So a lot of developments. Exciting things we're busy with and coming up, and the other thing that we will also be working on is the reels, the video score predictions, and the hype videos. So that's also an exciting topic for us, where we will be looking at certain players in the hype videos, maybe going a bit old school as well in that. Looking at past legends, and that's not going to be only South African as well. We're going to be looking at global players in that, get some hype videos going, and then obviously the reels. So you'll have shortened versions of us calling out people from especially the island team. But yeah, that's it. So what's next? Six Nations, 3 games this weekend.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a short episode, like last episode again. We'll just discuss the Six Nations preview, the last round, our predictions on it, which is 9 out of 10 times incorrect. And then next episode, we'll do a British and Irish Lions predicted team. I think all 3 of us can do one of those based on team performances throughout the Six Nations. So yeah, let's jump straight into it. The first game is Italy versus Ireland. So obviously Ireland are still contenders for the Six Nations, to win it, and also England and France. So yeah, what's your guys' prediction on this?
Well, we looked at the team sheets. Ireland's going full stack. They're not flaking out. So it's clear what Ireland's intentions are. They're going to go for the biggest possible score that they can against Italy. Points difference obviously playing a part in that. They need to build up points. In case, in the odd scenario that they would end up level with either France or England, at the top of the log, points difference will be making a big factor in that. But I do think that their loss over France, I think it really hurt them, because it was 20 points, and they need to double that up against Italy. So they need to basically go and put a half century on Italy. And although Italy hasn't been looking fantastic, they haven't really been looking that bad. So I do feel that in the bigger picture of things, Italy could potentially be the team that prevents Ireland from getting the points difference they need.
Yeah, well, I don't know. To me, like I said in our previous take, I think Italy's been a very disappointing team. They've got a lot of good teams. They've beaten Wales, only Wales, and it was a very bad Wales. And that's it. I think, in fact, they could have taken a lot more away from their previous Six Nation, where they leveled with France. But yeah, I don't know. I just they've got good players. They've got Ange Capuzzo. I always speak about Capuzzo. When we started this show, I was speaking about that center pairing, Brexham and Ncelo. So did it again. They got Nigri, the Zimbabwean born that came through the South African school system. They've got so many good players, but they're just not really, I mean, it's Italy. Everyone's always spoken about Italy, how bad they are, and they don't deserve to be in the Six Nations. And I've always stood up for them, but I was really hoping for a bit more. Then, if you look at Ireland, Ireland are finally back in Crowley. Is it too late? Most likely. Um, they've sent Joe McCarthy to the bench. And then James Lowe, who they sorely missed last weekend, is back, and Gary Ringrose has just come back from suspension. So, yeah, I don't know. Predictions?
Yeah, I'll go Ireland by at least in the first. I'll stick to what I said in the first take. Ireland by at least 38. I don't think Italy has it in them. I just think that Ireland needed more, but Ireland just look depleted at the moment, man. They're not looking like a good team. There's I think for me there's
Ireland.
Yeah, they even after the France match, they were out of that match after 20 minutes. You could see it on their faces. It was like
we've been speaking about it since episode 1 that they are a team on a downward spiral, and they had this magical golden generation, and there's no denying that they were the best team in the world at one stage. They had 18 games, I think. We'll have to double check that.
Yeah, they had a golden generation that didn't win any gold though.
Well, that's Ireland. That's Ireland in general. They like that. But I mean, that 18 game unbeaten streak where they beat in that period they beat New Zealand away, they beat South Africa away. They did very, very well up until the rugby quarterfinals where New Zealand beat them. And I think they were sort of hanging on, and we spoke about it before, where they're not developing enough players. You look at South Africa in 2024. I think it was 58 players we brought through the Springbok system or Springboks that we played. Rassie is always finding a way to, and okay, I'm a South African, so I'm going to make it about the South African rugby team. Is always finding a way to sort of make sure that we've got that depth. Which I don't think Ireland really has. And you saw it in last weekend when James Lowe wasn't there. I'm not saying that if he was there, they probably wouldn't. They probably still would have lost. But they really missed him. They missed that boot of his. So yeah, I think Ireland are on the downward spiral, and I think last weekend sort of proved that. But I still think they're going to beat Italy by 30 points.
Yeah, well, yeah, sorry, Bracky, go for it.
Sorry, Timmy. All I want to say is, in Ireland's defense, right, Andy Farrell, their head coach, is currently on a sabbatical to prepare for his role in the British and Irish Lions for their tour to Australia. And what I think is the problem with the team, if I can state it that way, kill me if you want to, is there's so many moving pieces when it comes to coaches. And if you don't have a stable coaching line, let's say, in a rugby team, how can you expect your players to be seen, to perform the way they have to? There's so many moving parts in overall rugby that if you move too much on the outside, on the coaching side of things, it's bound to mess up on the inside. So I think I'm standing up for the players here. I just think the place where they mess up a little bit is with the coaches. They need a set coach that doesn't have his head in all the other boxes except Ireland.
Fair point, Braxton. And I love Andy Farrell. I think Andy Farrell is a brilliant coach. Definitely and that is why he's the British and Irish Lions coach now. Definitely the best coach in the Northern Hemisphere. I still think that they are not focusing enough on developing depth in their team. They play the same team week in, week out, and when they don't, they get smashed. Or don't play as well. One thing I forgot to mention is that I don't know if I'm saying this right, but Furlong is back. This will be his first appearance, and he was injured. He's obviously an anchor for the Irish team. The tight head prop. But they put him on the bench because he was injured for so long. So yeah, it's actually good to see him back again.
Yeah, and then also we forgot to mention the sad news. This will be Bracky's last episode. He's apparently leaving to start his own Irish Rappy podcast. no,
Go
just
join
joking.
Matt Williams. Yeah.
No, we're getting there. I'm hyping myself up, for that. But yeah, in all fairness, I think we're in unison. Are we in unison? We both, me and Brenton, I know, went Ireland for a win. Bracky, you?
Prediction.
Italy boy at least. I can't remember what I said in the previous take. I think it was 15 or something, but still Italy. I think Italy's going to take it. I'm sorry.
I hope you don't put money on that.
Yeah, you're gonna confuse the shit out of the Irish people listening to your podcast.
They're very good. They're very good, but they're gonna get smashed by Italy.
I said it in the previous take, and I'm going to say it again. A lot of rugby teams do it. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different outcome. And I think Ireland has they've made a consistent replica of what they've been doing over the years, and it's just continuing down that path. So I think Italy for the win.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well. Yeah. Okay. Lucky.
The next game is the next game is England versus Wales. Now, this one I think I'll swim against the current now. So before I give my prediction, we can go over the teams.
Based on your guys' prediction, I just want to say this: why didn't you swim against the current way back when? We would have not had these simple predictions. Right now. No, I get that. And this is the underdog weekend. It's that we want Wales to win, we want Italy to win, and we want Scotland to win. It's true. But I think the opposition is just too good. I think England again, I think they're going to smash Wales by at least 35 points, at least. And I know in the first take, this is more or less where we messed it up.
Where we stopped.
but you had a lot to say, so I'll give you the floor, and then you can...
I'm going to go against that. So we've spoke about Wales so many times before. That's such a good game against Ireland. With their coach left halfway through the season, they called up new old players halfway through the season, and they didn't look too hot. In fact, they looked very bad against. Who did they play last weekend? Was it? Anyways, they really didn't look that hot. Scotland, they got smashed by Scotland. And in fact, Scotland was 30 points up before Wales started scoring. So I think in all honesty, I think Wales are going to do this. If and this might be controversial, I know this, but if Wales want to take anything out of the Six Nations, this one, it'll be one win. One win against England, who is not that bad of a side. Also been a disappointing side, but not that bad of a side. And England have also not been looking too hot. They looked very good against France. Okay. And then they lost against Ireland. They lost against Scotland. I know they won, but they actually lost. Let's be honest, they weren't supposed to win that game. So England have also not been looking that hot. And also they've made a lot of changes for this. This game. So they've also obviously got Marcus Smith back on fullback. Freeman is moving to 13. Finn Smith is obviously still there. Ben O is moving to 8, so because of the 6-2 split, he's going to be backing center, be a center backup. So yeah, let's see. Ben Curry, Tom Curry, the Curry brothers have been very, very good.
Curry buddies.
The Curry buddies have been very good. Stuart has been very good. I didn't pick him for my British and Irish tight head. I actually went with. Xander Ferguson, that's what I went with, But still very, very good, George Ford is back coming from the bench. But yeah, I honestly think that Wales are going to take this. And I don't think by far, I'm going to say Wales by 5.
Okay.
I'm gonna sorry, Timmy. I'm gonna take your place in being the one that says very controversial things on this channel. And I'm not saying I want team members to get hurt, but I would really like to see what Ben Earl can do if push comes to shove and he needs to step in. I think it'll be
I think it's going to be very interesting. I actually think it'd be well.
Yeah, I think
I
it'd
think
be
he'd do very
very
well.
interesting.
Yeah, I think he would do
Yeah.
well.
So
Okay, prediction.
I'm obviously going England. Also, I don't think by much. I think maybe 15. Yeah, 15.
And remember, they're playing at the Principality Stadium again, and we saw how the crowd got behind Wales against Ireland, and I'm expecting that same energy.
Oh, time will tell. Time will tell.
Okay, all right. So apparently, I'm gonna call myself Alice and kind of wondering which rabbit hole I fell into. Because I don't know what's happening. But please send me some of the stuff that you guys are using, because clearly, it's definitely good stuff. No, I think England by about 45, though.
Yo, okay. That's about what France beat them with.
Yeah,
But
yes.
let's see.
Okay.
So we've got two England, one Wales, two Ireland, one Italy. Then the final game. And this is probably one of the games that I will which is France versus Scotland. So this is basically if Scotland, they need to come out and beat France to give the other two teams a chance to win it. If France win or beat Scotland, Six Nations is theirs. Okay, what is your predictions on this? They are playing at Stade de France.
Well, okay, so this is now where the what if and how and whatnot comes in. Okay, so let's say Italy beats Ireland, okay, and Wales beat England, okay, and they prevent either one of those sides to get a bonus point, and Scotland pitch up and play the rugby of their lifetime this weekend, and they beat France with a bonus point and whatnot, then they could, well, okay, points difference, they need to beat France by 103 points, okay, which I I definitely don't see happening. It would be fantastic though, because I think Scotland will get for the rest of their lives, they won't work in a March ever again. But all of a sudden, then Scotland finishes second behind France in the Six Nations. So there's a lot of what ifs, and if your guys' score predictions are on point, which I hope they are, because obviously the underdog weekend, this lot could be looking very interesting. But if England and Ireland lose, nobody can beat France. And in all honesty, France just need to win. They don't need a bonus point.
Just need to win.
Yeah. England need a bonus point win, and they need to beat Wales by about 90 points to make up the points difference between them and France at the moment. Ireland need more. They almost need 100 points. And even if they win with a bonus point this weekend, if France wins, it's France's Six Nations. I can't see France losing the Six Nations. It's Scotland in France. Scotland at home, I would have probably said, Scotland have a chance, but not in France, and not after last weekend. Because those French tails are so high in the air, it looks like a backwards giraffe.
Look, I don't think France are going to be as good as they were last weekend. I'll be honest with you. Maxime Luku, Jason Statham, is getting his start at 9. Obviously because Dupont is seriously injured. They went for a 7-1 split again. I think I just don't see them replicating that same energy they had. I still think France are going to win, and for one reason only. Scotland have a very, very good team, especially the back line. Okay? But what have they ever done with it? And I blame Gregor Townsend for this. And I'm going to be as straightforward as I can. Who have Scotland beaten in the last few years, except England? Have they ever beaten, in the last 4 years, have they beaten any of the top 4 nations? Have they beaten the France? Have they beaten Ireland? Have they beaten South Africa? Have they beaten New Zealand? And with the team that they've got, they should at least have beaten one of them, so I think Scotland can be a very, very disappointing team, and they're one of the teams that should be doing a lot better than what they are doing. You've got a Blair Kinghorn who's in unbelievable form. Darcy Graham, Duan van der Merwe, Hugh Jones. Even the forwards, Rory Dodge, Matt Ferguson. There's a lot of very, very good players in that Scottish team, but they're not getting the results. And I think they don't really have a lot to play for because they don't have a shot at winning the Six Nations. And already I saw Jack Dempsey saying that it's almost harder to win the Six Nations than the World Cup, and something along the lines of second is still losing or something like that. So that's the mindset they've got already. They've really got that mindset of we've lost. What is there to fight for? I think based on what.
Hence why in the history of the World Cup they haven't won. We discussed this, and we've discussed this a few times. I've hammered on it a few times. There's a mentality issue in European rugby, and I'm not saying that as in a bad way. In all of the teams and whatnot, because the French club teams especially are playing fantastic rugby and they're doing well.
Yeah.
But there's a mentality issue on international level with European rugby. And all the teams have it. They think they're better than they truly are. Win some World Cups and stuff. The only flex you guys have at the moment is that you're winning Six Nations. So your flex is that you're winning a tournament that only European teams can play in. And really, please, just they need to really calm down. And Gregor Townsend was an average rugby player. We discussed this in the last episode. He was an average rugby player. And he's proven to be a more average coach. You've probably, and I've said this as well, Scotland probably has the most dangerous backline in the Six 100%. Nations. Okay, and if the ball goes to 13, if you actually go and look at the highlight reels and stuff, every time the ball has gone to Hugh Jones, they've gone and scored tries because he uses Duan van der Merwe, he uses Blair Keenhorn, he uses Darcy Graham. They just create space between the four of them in totality. But somewhere Finn Russell decided, no, we don't want to win the Six Nations by scoring tries. Okay. and then he decided just to put the cherry on that sadistic Scottish cake, he's going to start kicking like shit this season. So now they're also not winning it on penalties.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this is an easy one for France. I don't think they're going to have the energy that they had against Ireland, but I don't think they're going to need it. I think France by 14.
Interesting, Bracky.
You're looking at Thomas Ramos, right? And with Dupont gone, I really, this is a hard one for me to make because I got a liking in Dupont for some reason since the last match. But Ramos, dude,
that intercept,
he had a good game. He had a beautiful game.
Yeah.
And Emmanuel also, I saw his name once, so that's why I'm saying Emmanuel. I don't know, but for me personally, right? Any team that has a Ramos in the name is just so lekker. I'm saying France by 20.
Not impossible. Yeah.
For me, it's Le France pour la victoire, man. That's what it's going to be for me. That means France for the win, by the way.
Oh, thank you, Bracky. Thank you.
Well, yes, after this episode, we're definitely getting Bracky tested. And then, seeing as we need to stick to a theme, and we said we aren't gonna ever go scripted, I'm gonna say Scotland by 35.
I'm 100% sure that you're gonna change that right now.
Well, unfortunately, I already locked in my picks for Super Brew. Otherwise, I would have changed that right now. Actually, I don't think I have. I'll check it, and then just to kind of well, I'm actually playing against our Six Nations pool ended up being a smallish pool, and so but I'm leading, and that's all that matters because every time somebody overtakes me, I just kick them out of the pool. Then
that's why it's a small pool.
Yes, and probably the only way Ireland will ever win a World Cup. So. Yeah, no, in all honesty, I think it's France's Six Nations, and they're going to probably win this by at least 25.
Yeah. So this is the one game that all of us are in agreement with.
Yeah.
I see Gail Fico is back as well. Yoram Moafana, he looked very good for me last weekend. That's the 12. It's going to be a bit like a match-up between him and Tom Jordan. So yeah, we'll see. don't really have that much of hot news. So all the hype for nothing. I think the first thing is Jack Crowley is set to move to the Tigers. I don't know if that's been confirmed yet, but it looks like the Leicester Tigers are hot after Crowley to try and replace Andre Pollard.
It's the best option they've got.
I also think so.
To be honest, and for example, as a Stormers fan, I know we don't like the outside players coming to South Africa a lot, but I wouldn't mind seeing him in a Stormers jersey at 10. So I think it's a good buy if Leicester Tigers can sell it, and they're obviously looking to replace that kind of strong stability at 10 with strong stability at 10, unlike Ireland that went from strong stability at 10. Well, I won't say he was the guy that retired. I can't remember his name right now. That's how significant he was. Was replaced by Prendergast. So they've kind of replaced week and whiny by week. So I think for Leicester Tigers, that's definitely a really good buy. I think they would probably
but
be able to.
That does mean that Crowley won't be able to play for Ireland again.
Yes. Yes.
But you know what? In all fairness, I mean, he's been stuffed around so often. Can you blame him? I mean, he was Ireland's number one choice after Johnny Sexton, obviously, retired, and I think he was doing very well. And then the most overhyped player in the Six Nations, Sam Prendergast, got to start ahead of him, and he obviously got exposed last weekend. I'm not saying Jack Crowley is the best in the world, but I honestly rate him above Prendergast.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I definitely have him. If I have to pick 10 fly-offs right now, he's definitely going to make the cut. And he'll probably end up being in the top 6, top 7 at least. Globally.
Is he your British and Irish Lions fly-off?
Well, look, we touched this on the first take, right? So the thing is this: if Marcus Smith is chosen and fly off, Marcus Smith will be my first choice. If they look at the current fly-offs that's around in the Six Nations, I would probably go with Crowley ahead of Finn Smith. I just think out of experience, he's played the big matches against New Zealand, against Australia, and everything. So he's kind of exposed to more bigger rugby. I think Finn Smith still has just that little bit of a way to go before he can really be considered a true test player. His first year, he's new, everybody's still figuring him out and stuff. If he can keep up what he's been doing for the next 2 years, yes, then I can say Crowley's always been a very consistent performing fly-off. You know exactly what you're going to get. He's a better place kicker for me when it comes to points. He distributes the backline better and he makes better decisions. So definitely my choice for.
To me, Marcus Smith, Finn Smith, and then Crowley. But second one, England.
Do you want to tell me?
No, I have nothing. I just wish we could get some news that someone is going to take over the Lee's place in the Bulls, but no, that's not.
Yeah, but
not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's coming. Don't stress. You see,
Okay,
because
anyway,
with Bully back, they don't need Willie.
Fun time. Sorry, go on. No, I have nothing. Sorry.
England head coach Steve Borthwick is the highest paid rugby boss in the world, and that is shocking because he's got a 50% win rate. He's had, how long has he been coach for? He's had time. I'm not bashing England. Honestly, I'm not. I think they're doing a lot better than they were doing a while ago because they were getting smashed by Fiji not too long ago, and they are a team on the rise, but they're not there yet. I wouldn't be surprised if you would say Andy Farrell, who is a very, very successful coach, or Rassie Erasmus, who's probably the most successful coach at the moment.
I suppose it depends on who's appointing you. I suppose at the end of the day, if you look at, he is obviously ex English player, is appointed by England, so obviously he's getting the king's money there. Our king doesn't really. Well, we don't have one. But he doesn't really care about. Yeah, we've got a few, but they don't really watch rugby, I think. So I think it's just the luck of the draw. I don't think that it's really something we need to stress about. But I definitely think we should go into coaching, and
Yeah, and you get filthy rich with a 50% win rate.
well, we just need to be there. We need to be there for 4 years, reach the quarterfinal once with Ireland, and then we're sorted.
So then, this is going to be old news by the time you watch the episode. The South African Rugby Player of the Year is busy being announced as we are busy recording. And after this, I'm going to go and see who it is. Who do you guys think it is? Between Damien Delenda, Pieter Setutoy, Evan Etzebeth, Cheslin Colby, and Oxen Shea. There's your 5 nominees.
It
Who
has to be the pocket rocket. It's always going to be the pocket rocket.
Cheslin Colby.
Yeah, it has to be Chesy.
Bracky.
There's only one name in there that I can read clearly, and that's Jason Colby, unfortunately. I know Eben is there. Eben, love you to bits, boy. Damien Dalena, not sure about that one. Peter Steftoy, brilliant player. But unfortunately, no one touches Chesy, boy. He's just,
I'd be happy if Chelsea does win it. I mean, he deserves it, and I actually thought he was going to win World Player of the Year. But I'm going to go with our World Player of the Year, Peter Setutoy. I just think he's a fucking machine, and I've never seen him have a bad game.
That's your story. I know we discussed this a little bit before the recording or the podcast. If you look at the women's Rugby Player of the Year, I've been following them and with Swiss taking over some of the coaching there, they've started looking a lot more like a polished team. And we'll discuss it. We can do some highlight videos maybe at some point of it when we do our hype videos. But Nadine Roos at fullback has been lethal for the Springboks. With the place kicking, the defense, everything, attack and everything has just been brutal. So I really do hope that she does get it.
I haven't watched a lot of female rugby, but so I'll take your word for it.
You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice.
SA Rugby Young Player of the Year. Our nominees are
it's
Sasha
only
Feinberg.
one, boy. It's just one, man. It's going to be Jordan Hendricks. It's not
100%.
even.
I don't think it'll be him. But it's interesting. It's between Sasha, Cameron. We all know how I feel about Cameron. Jordan Hendricks, Quayne Horn, and Enko van Wyk. To me, if I was voting, I would vote Cameron. But I just cannot see how it cannot be Sasha. Sasha was he got capped for the first time in 2024.
Did Sasha take a 65-meter penalty to win the Currie Cup?
No,
we don't know that is.
But he started against the All Blacks. He played against Ireland. Or the other way around. But in the same year he got capped. He was our number one choice fly-off. In the same year he got, I think Sasha Feinberg-Mngomezulu is my number one choice fly-off for the Springboks, and I know that how you feel about Jordan Hendricks, and I also love Jordan Hendricks. I think he's a brilliant player. But Sasha Feinberg-Mngomezulu is still my first choice fly-off for the Springboks.
I'm still going to maintain my philosophy on that. I think he's a hit and a miss, eh? I really think he's going to be one of those players that's just going to be so injury prone the rest of his career that we would be lucky to see him play 4 matches a year.
I think. Sorry, Brinzy.
No, it's yours.
I think if you take overall game time and experience, Sasha definitely, right? If you take overall performance throughout the game, Sasha definitely. But the reason why I'm saying Jordy is because not only getting that beautiful, beautiful win, he plays the game differently.
He's very hard.
According to me. Yeah,
he's very good.
He plays it completely differently than some of the guys that he's matching against there. And I think if we take it on a broad spectrum, on the entire time that they've been playing, definitely Sasha. If they use those points to gather up who's going to be young player of the year, definitely Sasha. But for me personally, Jordan is just
I know this is not based on Springboks. I know that. If you had to ask me next year, because I think Jordan Hendricks is going to come in hot this year, then I'd probably agree with you. But I just cannot see a player that was capped for the Springboks for the first time, and everyone, majority of the people are in agreement that he is our first choice at the moment. At least 50% of our, South Africans are very divisive. But he is our first choice, and I think I just can't see how that'll get overlooked. But anyways, sevens players of the year. I've been watching some sevens. You know, I haven't really you know, watched it as much as I should have. But I don't know if you guys have followed it, and who you would. The nominees are Salvin Davids, Zane Davids, and Ryan Oosthuizen. I just can't see anyone else except Salvin Davids.
Yeah, I was saying the same thing before the show to Braki, you know, just looking, and even if I look at my YouTube reels, just, you know, before I go to bed, it's just, if there's a Rugby video of sevens, it's Salvin Davids, so, you know, it has to be him. And then the next one, if we're not in complete unison, then there's definitely something wrong, and I've gone to an alternate dimension, or something happened. Because if you know, junior Springbok player of the year, if we do not all say it's Jerenza Julius, then I don't know.
It's Jerenza Julius. There's no way. So
finally.
I remember on our rugby chat when the junior Springboks were playing. I think it was the rugby championship, the junior rugby championship, and they got smashed by Argentina because they looked very bad. You know, I still said on that group, this guy. That's before he got capped for the Sharks even, and I said this guy's got X factor. He is so good. I said the same thing about Batobele Sekani. I said the same thing about him, but Jerenza Julius is our guy. You know, he is so good. He's looked so good for the Hollywood Bet Sharks, and I cannot wait for him to wear the big boy Springbok shirt.
Yeah.
Team of the year. Is there anyone else? Can it be anyone else except Hollywood Bet Sharks?
Well, remember now, we need to look at this. This is taken into account the 2024 season. So you had a fantastic Currie Cup, right? But you had a very, very, very shit URC.
I don't think so. We fought in the log.
No, but this is 2024.
2024/2025 season.
No, I still have to get the Springboks though. I'm sorry, I can't.
No, I'm joking. It has to be the Springboks. We have to all agree that it has to be the Springboks.
Coach of the year, easy one. It has to be Rassie. Jake White hasn't done enough at the Bulls, but then again, he did bring back Paulie.
Rassie, it must be Rassie Erasmus. I agree with that. Philip Snyman also a very good nominee, because I mean the sevens have been looking very good under him. I mean, we won the first one in Cape Town. I think we lost in the finals of the next one, and also the same thing. We've been doing well in the sevens, where previously we haven't really been doing very well. But yeah, I mean Rassie Erasmus he got snubbed for coach of the year in World Rugby, and the sevens.
The coach that won is now using Rassie's tactics.
The French sevens coach, he's a rubbish. But anyways, how well have the French sevens team been doing in the sevens competition? Not well at all, you know. So yes. And that's for the coach of the year. So anyways, Rassie Erasmus, Carling Currie Cup Premier Division Player of the Year. You know, I like Vincent Tutuka. I know you hate Vincent Tutuka.
Yeah, but you know, if I look at it, you know, and I'm going to go with the underdog here. Clinton Swart at the Pumas has actually been looking well in the 2024 season. He did look very good.
I'm going Renzo du Plessis though.
Yeah, well, as long as it's not Tutuka, so that doesn't matter then.
I like Tutuka. I just think it's an unfair comparison, because he's not really a Currie Cup player, and Renzo du Plessis looked very good for me.
You know, and then the Carling Club First Division, I can't give an opinion there. Didn't catch enough of the games and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm just going to go because his name is cool, so I'm going to go with Thurlow Marsh.
So then all of us are going Thurlow Marsh then?
Yeah, I like a Thurlow. GG boy.
Yeah. All right, I think let's end it up on that.
No, I've got news.
Here we go.
So the last episode, poor old Rachel Khaleesi got it. Then it was James Lowe multiple times. So I'm actually very, very excited to see who it's going to be now. Let's hear.
Well, it's one of our favorite pundits. I know we've watched his stuff a lot, but Matt fucking Williams.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Okay, so now he's gone and he's kind of had a brain fart about the French using the 7-1 split and how it's a disgrace to the rugby and how it's a dangerous thing and whatnot. Okay, so just to give you an idea, Matt Williams coached the Scottish team for 2003 to 2005, where he got 3 wins out of 17. He actually coached in Super Rugby from 1996 up until then, before taking over from Scotland, where he had um, 33 games, and he only won 14 of them. So, you know, I don't even think you were an average coach. You know, average coach should at least had 50% wins. You're a pundit for Virgin something, okay? So please just chill out. You couldn't even, you know, coach a dung beetle to roll a piece of shit around. So, you know, just leave the rugby to the guys that know. Yeah, leave it to us. We'll sort it out, and maybe you go play hopscotch in a minefield.
But he's been complaining about the 7-1 split since we started it. You know, he was complaining about the 6-2 split. You know, to me, my 2 cents on that. Rugby is a physical game. You know, it's literally a game about tackling the shit out of someone that's got out of the opposition player that's got the ball. Does it not make sense to get your biggest boys on the field? Obviously, you need your finishers.
But it's also a game of tactics. You know, it's also a game of tactics. I mean, these teams aren't announced 2 minutes before the match. Okay, so we're at the 7-1 split. It is clear. And it was clear if you look at the France versus Ireland game, it was clear that France went to dominate Ireland up front. Okay? And what happened?
And they did that very well.
They got more go forward ball than probably any team did this year so far. Okay? And they outplayed Ireland. Now, it's not dangerous because you're playing a forward dominated game. Okay? Now, if you as a coach that could apparently only win 3 games in 3 years, think that is dangerous, it's because you didn't look at the team announcements, and you know, your record shows clearly that you don't have a fucking idea what you're talking about. You know, now I haven't coached any international sides, but I can tell you now that I would have a better record than this guy coaching the Scottish team of that era. Actually, to be honest, of that era. You know, if I could go back in time and whatnot, I just think, you know, it's like last week it was Justin Marshall. You know, the New Zealander had a brain fart. Now it's the Australians again. I mean, are you guys phoning each other up and going like, have you seen the Spear Tackle channel? Let's just see how we can you know, fuck up their day and stuff. Yeah, and then I get all upset and stuff and emotional and stuff because they don't know what they're talking about. You know.
Yeah, well, let's end it on that before Matt Williams' family starts getting dragged into this.
The Williams family, like and subscribe.
All right, thanks guys. Thank you very much.
I would just like to say one thing before we go. The Matt Williams thing. If you look at everything throughout life, everything has a strategic approach. Everything has tactics. Everything involving sports, involving culture, involving everything has tactics. It has strategics being put into it, implemented to have an upper hand in the sport or whatever you're taking part in. And now that he's calling it out and saying, I see that on one of the articles, he calls it cheating. This new tactic that was brought up. If you're not made to think outside the box when it comes to these things, then you should rather just leave it, is my feeling about it. And there's a saying as well, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And I think maybe just dead fast stuck in the past, and he can't get over the fact that things are changing, you know, there's bigger and better plays being made, and he was just not ready for it. That's just my
Matt Williams, don't stress. We don't hate you. And
we still love you.
For the other problems you've got, there's blue tablets for that. So in any case, like and subscribe, and then we'll see you next week.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheerio.